Conor McGregor demolishes Donald Cowboy Cerrone in 40 seconds at UFC 246, getting the TKO victory. I've probably seen this fight now 5 or 6 times since it happened a few hours ago. I've just woken up maybe an hour ago or so. It's past midday, but that's what happens when you have to stay up till 5 in the morning to watch mixed martial arts bouts. What can I say about this fight in particular? There's not really a lot to say. He looked very, very, very impressive. I'm not gonna sit here and say Cerrone's past it. Cerrone isn't at the right level. This was an easy fight for Conor McGregor, because I didn't say any of those things going into the fight. We know Cerrone was coming off of 2 losses, but he's still, before this fight, in my view, he was still a top 10 contender. He was a viable option for a comeback fight for Conor McGregor. Yes, Donald Cowboy's Cerrone's skill set is kind of it kind of mixes well with Conor McGregor's strengths, and I said before the fight, it's a fight that I expected Conor McGregor to win. But what I didn't think, or what I didn't say, is how quickly, how decisively, how aggressive Conor McGregor was. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see the head kick coming the same way Donald Cowboy Cerrone didn't see that head kick coming. It was just an impressive performance. A guy that's not had a fight in over a year. There were no signs of ring rust. If you're Dominic Cruz, you believe there's no such thing as ring rust. But if you're majority of analysts and kind of fighters that are currently fighting or have fought, they seem to think that ring rust is a real thing. So the fact that Conor McGregor was able to do what he did in such a short time, it speaks volumes, man. I said before the fight that I felt that Conor McGregor wasn't getting the right level of what's the right word? He wasn't getting the right level of credit. He wasn't getting the right. Well, I don't know why it took me so long to think of that simple word, but he wasn't getting the right level of credit for what he's achieved so far and the way he's achieved it and his skill set. I don't think people, like, going into the fight, people like on Luke Thomas's show on Monday morning, Mortal Kombat or whatever it's called, that Brian guy kept saying Conor McGregor, he's a one-trick pony. He's a one-trick. No, he's not a one-trick pony. This is a guy whose stand-up in mixed martial arts is elite. He's an elite level striker when it comes to MMA, and people need to start putting more respect on his name. It's almost as if that just because he's achieved so much commercially through the sport, people kind of take away from his technical ability in the cage just because he's exceeded expectations and he's broken all the records there are to break when it comes to the commercial side of the sport. People take away from his actual attributes in the cage, his technical ability. When they kind of clinched after Conor McGregor threw that big left and Cowboy ducked under, I don't know why Cowboy didn't go for the takedown. He kind of ducked under and then came back up and try to hold McGregor in a clinch. And McGregor, those shoulder strikes, I haven't seen anyone use their shoulder as such a weapon like that. I mean, I've seen people use their shoulder to kind of get a superior position against their opponent. I've seen people striking with their shoulder just as a token gesture, as, oh, I'm striking, look, referee or judges, like, you know, these are strikes that are hitting my opponent. I've never seen a fighter physically put that much power in a shoulder strike the way Conor McGregor did, and obviously it helps with a height difference, and Conor McGregor shorter, so he could get more purchase, and as he kind of leaped in and put his weight into those shoulder strikes, they were obviously hurting Cowboy. And then off the back of that, with the head kick, the way, so Cerrone threw a high kick. Hold on, let me just play the fight because I can just talk through it, because it didn't last very long. So as after they separated from that clinch where Conor McGregor landed those shoulder strikes, I'm pretty sure Cowboy threw a high kick that kind of, it landed, but Conor blocked it basically. or I might just have been seeing things. I'm watching it now, which is, yep, he threw a high kick that landed on, or Conor McGregor blocks it with his forearm, and then Conor McGregor responded right away with a high kick, and when he's got an opponent hurt, Conor is one of the best in the business at finishing his opponent. As soon as he's got his hurt, like he doesn't kind of let his own excitement and adrenaline smother his own work. He kind of manages to find the right shots at the right time, and he hits extremely hard. And he just showed his best attributes in this fight in that short 40-second period. So what's next? What's next for Conor McGregor? It seems that Dana White is adamant that he wants to do a rematch with Khabib should Khabib beat Tony Ferguson, or he wants to see, basically he wants to see Conor McGregor fight the winner of Tony Ferguson and Khabib. I'm not really. I don't know whether I want to see Conor McGregor fight Khabib again so soon. The build up to the first fight was very toxic, and it just felt so heavy, and it wasn't the level of disrespect and the words that were exchanged and the dynamics between the two fighters weren't. It wasn't like how it is with Conor and other opponents. Like, you got to remember when Conor fought Poirier or when he fought Jose Aldo, there was a lot of things said, but it, although there were personal things said, it never felt as heavy and as dark as it did when Conor fought Khabib. And if they're to fight again this year in a rematch, I'm just not interested in seeing months of that again. I don't want to see it, man, because I don't find it interesting. It just kind of gives me a crappy feeling inside, and I don't find it interesting. And, like, don't get me wrong, I'd love to see them fight again, just in a fight, but all the packaging that comes with it, I'm just not really into it, man. I'd love to see Conor McGregor fight Tony Ferguson should Tony Ferguson beat Khabib. However, if Ferguson does beat Khabib, I believe Khabib deserves a rematch, an immediate rematch, obviously depending on the circumstances and how it happens. But Khabib, for me, has shown enough and has been dominating enough as a lightweight in the UFC, that if he should lose to Ferguson, I think he does deserve an immediate rematch. I personally, I'm kind of torn because, like, it just feels like there isn't an obvious option out there for Conor McGregor, and Conor McGregor hasn't really been vocal in calling out a specific opponent that he wants to fight next. Obviously, Jorge Masvidal is waiting there in the wings, and obviously that'll be a massive occasion, a huge event, a massive fight. The two kind of biggest names when it comes to social media kind of popularity, the two kind of biggest stars in MMA at the moment, stepping into the octagon together. Obviously, it will be an amazing show, and I'd definitely be interested in watching it. But something inside me really wants to see Jorge Masvidal fight against Kamaru Usman. That's I kind of feel like I'm more interested in seeing Masvidal against Usman than I am in McGregor against Masvidal. One thing for certain, I don't want to see Conor McGregor have a boxing match again. I want to see him in the cage, and I think I'm kind of leaning towards a fight between Conor McGregor and Justin Gaethje. That's the one that I really want to see, if I'm honest with you. If Conor McGregor is going to go back down to lightweight, Tony Ferguson and Khabib aren't fighting until, I think, March or April, I think. So that's a couple of, like, 2 or 3 months away. If Conor McGregor was to fight Justin Gaethje in and around that kind of period, in May or something like that, that would set up a fight between the winner of that fight, Justin Gaethje or Conor McGregor, against the winner of Tony Ferguson and Khabib. I think that, for me personally, that is how I would like to see things play out in the lightweight division, if obviously Conor McGregor chooses to go back down to lightweight. But the world's his oyster. It was an amazing, amazing performance. I want to see a quick turnaround. I want to see him fight in the next 3-4 months or something. I don't want to be waiting, half a year, or waiting until September or October for him to come back in the octagon. But it's interesting times, and I'm excited to see how the UFC kind of manage this situation, because there's a lot of fights that could potentially be made And it's almost as if like you don't want to miss the boat. Like if Conor McGregor was to fight, I don't know, Jorge Masvidal and lose, does that mean a fight with him against Khabib or Tony Ferguson is no longer there? Do you know what I mean? Like, or if he, or vice versa, if he was to fight a Gaethje and loses, does that mean that there's no, there's no fight against Jorge Masvidal or Khabib or Tony? Like, there's so many different permutations, not just in terms of who he fights next, but how that fight plays out. But let's worry about it when that comes. For now, let's just enjoy the fact that Conor McGregor just showed how good he is. And Donald Cowboy Cerrone, for me, it just feels like this is kind of now. I think he signed a new deal, and he's got multiple fights on this deal with the UFC. But I'm just not. I feel like he's kind of now in a position where he's a gatekeeper now, isn't he? So he'll be fighting up and comers, or he'll be fighting guys that have come off a loss and they'll face Donald Cerrone. I don't know, man. If he loves fighting, if he enjoys fighting, fine, carry on doing it. But if you've got enough money to not have to fight again and not take this damage, that's definitely an option worth considering. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. What did you make of the fight? Who do you want to see Conor McGregor fight next? What do you think should be the next steps? I'd love to get your views. Please share your comments below. I'll try and respond as and when I see them pop up on my phone. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Cheers.